right, here is the video review for Mastermind Creations R-45, Nemo, and Motif, aka Chrome Dome and Rewind here. And first off, hi to Rick. He was commenting. He's the guy who did the base design here for Chrome Dome or for Nemo before it got handed off to put all the joints and everything into it. Also did the design for that really cool IDW Fort Max that sadly did not crowdfund. But yeah, hi. I'm reviewing it. And like I say, this is a pretty nice little set here. I like Chrome Dome and Rewind of the comics. Chrome Dome, as it is one of my favorite G1 characters. He's been a favorite of mine since G1, and I enjoyed them in More Than Meets the Eye and Lost Light as well. So it's nice to finally have them. There's a few minor quibbles that I have with it, but like every issue that I have with this, is in levels of smidge. Like I wish, like I think this tan is perfect. The brown is actually, the more I look at it, the more I'm okay with it. I feel like it could be just a smidge darker, and same with the red. I wish that the red were a smidge darker. It's mostly this yellow pops up here in the deco. Very, it sticks out here on the wheels, and it almost seems a little too bright. And when it gets to the robot mode face, his visor really doesn't pop as much from the head as I would prefer. But we'll get to that later. But like the very, very minor complaints. He's a fun little figure here, and he rolls around. He's got four little wheels, and he rolls. His wheels roll, and yeah, there's Chrome Dome in his tumbler mode, and then Motif, who is allegedly a memory stick because we say so. He just kind of folds up into a little square. We'll transform him first because he's a little bit more basic. You come up under here, you basically just lift up these pieces and unplug the arms from here, lift them up so they all come untabbed from the legs, and then get them out of the way here because you want to get these feet out. Actually, the first thing you want to do, this panel right here on the bottom, flip that open. Now this hinge always scares me because if you don't have that lined up just right, this kind of clips over the ball joint here. And the first couple times you do this, if you don't have it perfectly lined up, it gets a little scary. But once you know where it all goes, it's not that bad. But open up these panels right here on the legs, and that gives you the freedom to kind of untab them here. This little piece tabs into the armpit, I guess, and flip them out. As you flip them out, this little panel will come up. That's a little filler panel, so the leg doesn't look hollow. To flip the foot out, I found it's way easier if you bring it out on this hinge and then flip the toe out. You can flip the toe out without flipping the hinge out, but it's just way easier to do it that way. And then this kind of folds up like that to fill in the bottom part of the foot. You can see it kind of matches the grating up there. And then you just rotate that around to the front like that, and do the same on this leg. There we go, pop that open. Flip it all around. Flip the foot up. Open it up so you can flip it all the way around. Actually, you do need to open it up because otherwise this will hit up on this front of his shin. Like that. Fold that up. Close that up. And bring the leg down and around. And his legs are done. And the arms just unpeg and come down. Just like that. Super easy. Shoulder pads come down. You can angle them up however you want. Then you open this panel on his back. Flip up his head. And there is Motif, aka Rewind. He's got a ball jointed head. He's got dual hinge shoulders. The swivel here is a little tight. Bicep swivel. Pinned elbows. It's a single pin, but there's a range there. It lets him really fold his arm up. Then ball jointed wrists. He's got a bit of an ab crunch. It does click into place. He does have a waist swivel. Dual hinge hips. Actually, ball joint hips. Thigh swivel. Dual hinge knees, I believe. Yeah, dual hinge knees. Although the shape of the leg kind of keeps it from folding up too much. But you can get a pretty decent range of motion there out of the leg. And then the toes, obviously, have a hinge there and also an ankle tilt there on that hinge. So there's Motif. And now, let's do his conjuncts and get Chrome Dome up here in the robot mode, or Nemo, I guess we'd say, because he's a Nemo surgeon. All right, cool. So here we have the car, and you want to start unpegging things here. These little panels here on the side of the leg come out. and they're on a hinge there. You can go ahead and fold that up, and then fold this little panel around and in. That can be a little bit of a pain to get open, but if you come at it from you get your fingernail in the crack there, it's not too bad to flip that little panel out going back. But open those up, and then open these, untab these brown panels here, and then unpeg the arm. There's a peg here that goes in there, and that'll free up the legs. You want to bend this hinge right here, where the knee meets, and then fold this panel up together. Get this red tab out of the way, and then this brown panel folds all the way around and locks in to lock the upper thigh together. So when you're going back to vehicle mode, this piece is on a double hinge, so you want to make sure instead of just opening it up like this, you want to make sure it comes all the way around, so you have that space to fold it over this tab. Otherwise, it'll sit too low, and you won't be able to fold the knee up. So bring up that pad, bring that, then lock all that together, and then straighten the leg, and then rotate it right there at the thigh swivel so the knee comes forward. Stick up like this, and then down here, open up the toe here on the foot, and then unlock this tab. This tab keeps it from rotating here below the shin in vehicle mode. But fold that all the way up into the leg, and then rotate so the foot is facing forward here on the shin. And then there's a tab here on this gray piece, and you want to find not the open slot where the heel is, but there's a slot here on the wheel. You want to make sure that that comes down and pegs into the wheel. Where'd it go? There we go. Lock the wheel in place, and then once that's locked in place, you'll have access to the heel part, and you flip that out, and then he's got a heel to support himself. And then same on this leg. Bring the toe out, open this up, rotate it around, bring the toe down, and peg the wheel in place like that, and flip the heel out. These little panels, these posts can move. Technically they should be up like that, but they're going to move around while you're transforming them. On to the arms here, we're going to go untab this thruster piece from the wheel itself. Rotate the arm around so the elbow, so this comes to the back of the arm and the elbow faces forward, and then rotate the cuff here around to the outside, and you'll see this is going to fold up on the hinge, and this little tab will go into this little slot on the forearm. And just lock that up like that, and rotate his fist around. The wheel, you fold down, and there's a hinge here where you rotate the wheel itself rolls on the middle post, and then you want to rotate this whole thing around and up onto the arm, and then you'll have the room to tab this into the shoulder here. And then this little piece right here folds up and onto the shoulder itself. And you fold that panel up, and there's one arm done. Same over here. Untab this, pull this out. Now, it appears that there's a screw in here. I can't get into the wheel to find out, and I don't want to bust it. But I was rotating it the same. If you rotate it the same way several times in this direction, or actually clockwise direction, it was getting really tight. And so I think there's a screw in there, kind of like the on the wings on the Rat Bat and the Batman they did. You want to make sure you don't over tighten. If it starting to feel really tight, rotate it back around the other way, because you may be tightening a screw in there. I can't confirm it, but that's what it feels like. Fold that down, fold that up onto the shoulder, this out, rotate the arm around, and then plug the arm panel in like that. And then we come up here and lift this up, open up this panel, lift this kind of up and out so you have clearance. Rotate this around, and when you get to about right here, make sure the arm's flat, and then rotate the cockpit around like that, and then fold this back up, and fold this all the rest of the way down to his back. And then this chest piece comes up, fold the red piece down, and you can see where that's going to peg together right there. And then these brown pieces on either side of his shoulders rotate back And you can see there's a hinge there to fold that down to form his chest. And same over here. And there is Nemo in robot mode. Now, like I said, now all the smidges. I feel like he's a decent representation of the comic book Chrome Dome. He's a little on the lanky side, like just a smidge lanky. And I looked at the art, and he actually is not nearly as more lanky here than he is in the art. I went back and looked at some comic panels. Like, he actually is fairly lanky in the books. It's just he just seems very thin. It's not a bad look, but like I said, it could have just been my memory because there's never really just a full straight-on body shot of him in the comics. But all in all, decent representation of the two of these guys for your shelf. And like I said, I feel like the brown could be just a smidge darker. Same with the red. And I do wish there was a little bit more. Like, on camera, it's showing up a little bit more distinctly. But to the naked eye, like, the yellow faceplate is, and the detailing in his ear vents really doesn't show up well. It doesn't contrast enough from the helmet itself. Even the eyes are a little bit of the same. They're yellow, but it all just kind of blends. And just a little bit more contrast, a little bit more orange on the faceplate, and a little bit more orange here on the wheels. Like, they just seem really bright, especially in vehicle mode, where like they're the only big bright spots of yellow on the vehicle. But all in all, like I said, it's all very minor tweaks I would make to it. There's nothing egregious here. They're fun little, and the engineering is great. I love transforming him. He's a lot of fun. Accessories, you get an extra, and I'm not going to unscrew it to screw this on, but you get an extra little communications head for Nemo. He's got a little microphone down here, and then there's this separate piece here that plugs into his ear. A little listening antenna. And that just pegs into a open hole there on his in his ear vents. So you can have him communicating. Different hands. You can give hands on Nemo just pop off at the ball joint, and you can give him his Nemo surgeon fingers, his little spiky fingers, if you want. So you can access people's brains. Fling his other hand across the table, if you want. The fingers do open. I forgot to show that off. But the fingers on his hand are harder to do when I'm just holding it by the tiny little ball joint, but the hands do open. Oh yeah, I guess I should have put both of them on at the same time, but you can do that. Give me a second. Yeah, so there he's got his creepy, I'm going to stab you in the brain hands. And then he has an open left hand. And then he's got another right hand here. That it's hard to tell what's going on here because it's all molded in the beige plastic, and I wish they would have painted it white. Although it's just a Motif is actually quite white, so it's so it's easy to do. But you can paint it, but it's a little. They can hold hands. Pop off his hand and come up. Be done. And come here. So they can go for a walk across the Lost Light or wherever. Which I think is cute. Or they can sit down and hold hands. I mean, it's probably a whole lot easier to do if they were sitting down. But yeah, you can make them hold hands. Let's put his core hands back on. I don't think I got into his articulation, but again, he's got the ball joint head. Actually, let me get Rewind's hand back on first. I'm gonna feel. Oh, his feet came unhooked. Yeah, his feet came really unhooked. Come on. There we go. Support yourself. Good job. No, I'm just kidding. Come on. There we go. All right, we're going to get his hand back on. All right, so ball joint head. You got dual hinge shoulders. You got a bicep swivel. Dual hinge elbows. Nicely done. The ball joint wrists, the opening fingers. You got a waist swivel. It's got an ab crunch as well. I mean, it's kind of just a hinge. It's more of a hinge than the crunch, but he can bend at the waist. You heard it snap into place. He does have these little wibbly wibs. Waist swivel, dual hinge hips, thigh swivel, dual hinge knees. I think they're dual hinge. No, okay, they just become a single hinge there. But you do have like a mid shin swivel, then a joint right there, and then some ankle tilt side to side as well. And you can pose the toes, but again, posing the toes, it does make it very easy to pop that tab out and make the wheel run loose. So. Come on. Come on. Okay, there we go. And some quick comparisons just for funsies. Here is Chrome Dome with his Titans Return version. And here is Rewind with the Perfect Effect. I've had these two on my shelf for a while. So now these guys will go up there too. He is not to scale, sadly, with the Flame Toys Megatron model kit. It makes him much larger than Megatron, which was absolutely not the case in... Although I guess he did size shift a couple times, so maybe at some point he was this relation. So, accurate. Anyway. And we'll have Rewind come in here to stand between and protect him. Protect Chrome Dome here from the X. Here he is with G Creations. Is it Generation Toy or G Creation? That Prowl. Cybertronian Prowl. Again, a little out of scale, but I'm okay with it. They look good together. But yeah, there is R-45, Nemo, and Motif from Mastermind Creations. More Than Meets the Eye, Lost Light, Chrome Dome, and Rewind. Very nice.